It's Jordan Mulligan from the Mulliganbrothers, and today's video is about the experience of joining the Marines and what it takes to get into the Marines and join the Marines. Today's video was sponsored by betterhelp.com, where you can get online therapy from professionals with the link in the description. Something I have been doing for a year and I fully recommend it. It's a tough journey. If it's something that you're looking for, a mindset journey over this next year, I fully recommend it. And also we are sponsored by Mulliganbrothers.com, where you can get the Mulliganbrothers hoodies and so much more with the link in the description. For me, I'm always interested in what it takes to get into these militaries, different militaries. And the Royal Marines for me is something that I have friends who are in the Royal Marines. I know people who are in the Royal Marines. I know people who have failed getting into the Royal Marines. So this is a really interesting story from Aldo Kane about getting in to the Royal Marines.
So I was not academic at all at school. The Scouts helped me get outdoors and stay outdoors. I didn't play computer games. I wasn't an indoor kid. And the more that you did that, the more that I did that, the more I realized I didn't want to have a normal job. And so I got to the point where I was looking at what jobs I could do and would want to do in the military. It seemed to offer this lifestyle of being outside, adventurous, boys' own sort of adventure, and that's what I was in the Scouts for, that's what I was in the Cadets for. And so I went to the careers office up in Glasgow, and you've got like the Navy, the Air Force, the Army, and I went into the naval one, and there was a Marine in there, Royal Marine in there, Commando, and he basically said, look, there's no point going to the rest of them, we're the best. But I did do my own due diligence and went down and checked the rest of them out, but that was like the first time, and I reckon I was 14 when I went there to see which one I wanted to join. And then for the next 2 years I was like focused. I was joining the Marines regardless of what my parents thought and regardless of what anyone thought. That's exactly what I was going to do.
And there's a story of when you, the Green Beret, I can't remember where it was, but the seduction of it brought you in even more to it.
The Green Beret, or the Green Beret, you might say in America. The Green Beret is like the coveted headdress of the Royal Marine Commandos. It's renowned and revered throughout the world. And the first time I actually saw one was at a cadet camp, an air cadet camp up in Scotland, North Scotland, and this helicopter pilot sort of swaggered to the front of the queue that I was in, and he put it down on the desk. He was buying something, and I remember just seeing it and just being like, that looks beautiful, like the black anodized Globe and Laurel badge on it and the green beret, and like I just thought that's what I'm going to have, basically.
So what was the process of training like? I mean, for yourself, was it a bit of a shock, or did it meet expectations?
Because I wanted to join the Marines from like 13 or 14, by the time it came to joining up, like I knew inside out what training was, what was happening in what week, and the only bit that I didn't know was whether my body would be physically strong enough to complete it. My head game was good. I knew that's what I wanted to do. And it's the longest infantry training in the world. It's 30 odd weeks. So it's quite a long time, and it's very intense. There's hardly any days off through the whole process. And every week is like a culling phase, getting rid of dead wood in the troop. So out of maybe 50 people that join, 50 men that join, then at the end of it there might be 7 or 8 that finish it. And so joining at 16, my bones weren't fully developed, and my body wasn't fully developed. I was essentially still a boy. But yeah, I found it was tough, but I knew that it was going to be tough, and I knew that wouldn't last forever. There wouldn't be people staying in the Marines for 10, 15, 20 years if it was as hard as it was every single day in training. You just couldn't last that long. So it was the first part of my life where I started to realize that you can literally become what you think about. You can have what you want as long as you know what it is that you want. And I think a lot of my friends at school, they just didn't know what they wanted to do. They're going to prolong it a bit more, do do A-levels or higher, and then they go to university, still don't really know what they want to do, choose a course that they're not that interested in, come out 23, 24, still not know what they're going to do, dodge around a few jobs. You know, by the time I was 26, I'd done 10 years as an elite soldier. You know, I just shortcutted that whole 10 years of messing around by knowing exactly what it was that I wanted to do and then breaking that down. And that's really, you know, my life up till now has been based on those fundamental points of, you know, you can have anything and be anything and do anything that you want. You just have to know what that thing is.
I mean, that's so important as well, and I think for some reason it's not instilled in people. Like, I think we can work hard, but work hard towards nothing. And like having a goal, we can get there. And it might not even be the right place you want to arrive at, but you will find you get progress, and sometimes looking back, the dots connect as well. You say it as a 16-year-old going, you know, into this training with men, fully grown men. How much of it was physical and how much of it was mental?
Yeah, I suppose that, you know, the Royal Marines training is hard physically. You get smashed every day, you know, relentlessly for the entire time that you're there. But as a young man, you're fairly robust, you're fairly resilient to that sort of training. If your mindset is good, you know, of 50 people that start, let's say 10 finish, not all of those 40 that don't make it have physical injuries. You know, the majority of those probably just don't have the minerals to finish the course. And that's because, you know, there's a big lesson there in anything that you do. If the why isn't big enough, then you'll never have the drive, the determination to get out of bed early and finish that thing. And so let's say I just say, I'm going to join the Marines, there's nothing else going on, like my apprenticeship's finished, and you get down there and you're in week 10 and you're getting smashed. And you're, you know, cold, wet, hungry, tired, then it's very easy to just stick your hand up and say, I'm sacking it off. Whereas if that's all you've wanted to do, and that is your end state, is to get there, then, like for me, in those hard times, I was in my absolute element. I was living my dream. It's hard to explain it, but I had this, like, a fire inside my stomach that I was doing the thing that I wanted to do, and it was such an amazing feeling, and I feel lucky that I found that early on, because it shaped the rest of my life. You know, my time in the Marines was 10 years, which was quite a short period of time in comparison to lots of other people who might do 22 years as the longest. My twin did 16 years. But, you know, for me, what I took away from that was not all the hardcore skills of being able to shoot from a long distance and being able to run miles and miles and not feel tired. What I took away from it was the soft skills, and they call it the commando spirit, and that's courage, determination, unselfishness, and cheerfulness in the face of adversity. Now, those four things, if you can employ them and put them into everything that you do, then anything is possible. Like I said earlier, you know, if the why isn't big enough or strong enough, then you'll never get out of bed in the morning. You'll never, you know, get up when things are hard. But with courage, determination, unselfishness, cheerfulness in the face of adversity, which is like the commando spirit, you can almost achieve anything.
Thank you so much to Aldo Kane for sharing his experience of getting into the Royal Marines. It paints a picture of something that's extremely difficult, but the reality, when you really think about the reality, it's a completely different thing. I hope this has given you some kind of insight into what that is. But remember, if it's something that you're going for, if it's something that you're aspiring to do, the reality of it is difficult, is beyond difficult. Watch as many of our videos as you can around the guys and the military guys, because they'll give you a better insight as well. And just surround yourself with people who have been through it, and see the look in their eyes when they're telling you the story about what it's really like, and really listen to it from an objective point of view. So thank you to Aldo. His stuff is linked down below. His book is available for free with the link in the description. Thanks to audible.com for making that possible. If you click that link, you can get a free copy of his audiobook with the link in the description. That is how I read Aldo's book. And yeah, I thoroughly recommend it. It's actually my favorite book. And I've said that I love all the military books, but this is probably my favorite book, I think, Aldo Kane's, just because there's so much stuff in there that covers different stories as well, not just the military side of things, there's the other stuff as well, and he has got a very interesting life, to say the least. So thank you to Aldo. Today's video was also sponsored by Mulliganbrothers.com, where you can get Mulligan Brothers hoodies, t-shirts, and all that kind of stuff. And I know I have to do this every video, and I say, thank you, or head over to mulliganbrothers.com and buy a t-shirt. But you guys have made this possible, and I just want to say thank you for all the support. It is much appreciated. It does make this possible. We're self-funded, so everything goes back into making this content and delivering it for free. That's our goal, always, to help inspire change and be an inspire change movement. So thank you to everybody. Follow me on Instagram, @JordanMulliganbrother. Go follow Aldo Kane, and yeah, have a blessed and productive day. Go inspire some change yourself, guys. Peace.